Hello and welcome to Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport in Prepared. My name is TKMR, and well, we'll get to that in a bit. As I said, this is Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport by Flightbeam, awesome company. Today, we are not flying that. We are here at the Qatar FBO, and we're flying this. This is Cessna C-172 by A2A, which is awesome. It's a beautifully modeled aircraft, and, well, yeah. Important things to note about it is a fixed pitch aircraft. It's rather small, pretty light. Let's go ahead and get inside here. Okay, and we don't have any GPS. That's right, we're just using a standard, really basic radio navigation stack. We do have some really nice nav radios and a nice ADF and a nice DME. And of course transponder, and we do actually does have an autopilot, but we won't be using that. We won't be using any of the nav radios or the ADF or anything today, because today we are doing a pure VFR flight. So what's the plan? Well, before I give you that, let's go ahead and start the aircraft up and make sure that we can bring the oil temperature up. Starting this puppy up is pretty easy. First thing I gotta do, and just for explanation's sake, I did already do our pre-flight and everything, so this is just gonna be a real quick startup. Number one, let's make sure we got our parking brake set, which we do. Let's get that fuel cutoff in. We're on, both tanks selected. We'll go full rich on that mixture. Let's get the battery on. Alright, we're gonna have plenty of fuel for our flight today. It's pretty short. Just double check. Our annunciator lights are working, which they are. Awesome, everything but oil pressure and vacuum left right should go off. Okay, it's gonna leave volts on now too. That's okay. Alright, next up, we've got mixture in, we've got the fuel cutoff in, we've got a fuel tank selected. We want to make sure that we get some fuel flow. So as you can see, I was already flying a little bit earlier, so our oil temperature is already up, so we don't need to spend too much time heating. But if you were starting cold and dark, you would need to let the oil temperature come up before you do your run-up checks and everything. But, so one of the things that you need to do, turn your fuel pump on, make sure that fuel flow needle starts moving. As soon as it's in the green, you can turn it back off, and you get some fuel into the engine. After that, it's really, really insanely simple. You know, make sure you have a nav on, make sure you have a beacon on, scream clear prep out the window, and turn the key. I know that was a lot of steps, but... And you do need to add some throttle in as well. The engine requires air to bust. Alright. Oh no, we still have our volts light on. Why is that? Oh, it's because we don't have our alternator on. There we go. So now our battery's charging. Oh, there we go. 85 degrees outside, nice and warm. Go ahead and kick our avionics on. Alright. Now we're going to tune over to the Phoenix Sky Harbor National Airport ATIS. So here's Sky Vector, and here's all the information we need. ATIS is going to be on 127.575. We can't quite go that fine-grained, but what we can do is go 127.57. Awesome. But you know what? Let's not do that here. Actually, if you see, I already have it tuned up in our second comm radio. Let's just go ahead and swap that over from standby to main. And we'll just turn on our speakers onto that.
Hotel 1516 Zulu, wind 350 at 5, visibility greater than 20 miles, sky condition, no clouds below 20,000, temperature 30, dew point -11, altimeter 2969er, ILS, runway 7, left ILS, runway 7, right ILS, runway 8 in use, landing and departing runway 7, left runway 7, right American 467, VFR aircraft 8010, all 8 on course. Sky Harbor Airport information, hotel 15.
Alright, so next, let's go ahead, go to ground 119.75. We're just going to listen in for a moment. Tower 1, probably going to be getting runway 7 right, based on where we are. I'll show you guys that in just a moment. So we're going to go Phoenix ground on 119.75.
Turn left, heading 070. Resume on navigation. Climb and maintain 13,000.
We're going to be going, let's go to Phoenix ground and listen into that for now. So it was 119.25. And then tower was on 120.9. And we can go ahead and tune tower up. And just listen in. See how busy it is. Alright. Other things we need to check before we take off. Compass is 80 degrees, and our HSI is at 80 degrees. Cool, no gyro drift. Fantastic. Set that to about 2,000 feet. That's gonna be fine. We need to stay below 3,000 to stay under the Class Bravo airspace here. So 2,000 will work great. We are already. Temperature's good, vacuum's good. Amps are good, oil pressure's good. Got some fuel flow in, which is good. And we do have some exhaust gas. Let's go ahead and lean this out for now so we don't foul up our plugs. Gonna go back until the engine gets rough. Probably about there. And actually, while we're doing stuff, let's just go actually full rest for a moment. We'll do our run-up check real quick. So we're gonna go and get my head set on. There we go. Go up to 2,000. Hold it steady. Good, hold it steady. Magneto check. Left is good. Right is good. Cool. Alright, yeah, we can pull that way back out. And pull the mixture out a bit. Cool. Now why is it doing this? Alright, well, unfortunately my ATC isn't working. Normally at this point we'd call up and we'd say Sky Harbor Ground, Cessna, November 7274 Hotel, Quest Taxi, VFR departure to the south, and they'd tell us where to go. Taxi route that they'd probably give us, so we're down here in this parking area at the FBO. They'd probably tell us to come up one of these intersections, follow hotel to Hotel 1, then take 7 right out. Now, the reason that they have us do that is because that's the closest runway. It's short. Airliners can use the other runway while we use this shorter runway. And since we're going to the south, it makes sense. So here's our little flight plan today. Like I said, it's fully VFR. Take off for 7 right, head south. We're going to go around South Mountain, make a turn. It's a be right-hand turn, and fly over towards the Sierra Estrella range here. From there, we'll kind of turn northwesterly, and we're looking for Phoenix Goodyear. So it's really just a really short flight here from Sky Harbor to Goodyear. But yeah, it'll give us a little opportunity to chat. Alright. So we're gonna just keep listening, because apparently we're not allowed to talk to them. I don't know why. But let's get rolling out there. Done all our checks. Clear right, clear left. Mutter, mutter, mutter.
November 675, Quebec 2.
Alright. So if you've been following me on Twitch, you'll know I've been doing an around the world flights kind of thing, and I've been trying to stick VFR as much as possible. Now I've been switching up airplanes quite a bit. I think we're probably going to end up settling on the Comanche, at least for a while. Just because it's fairly quick, it's got good range. I love that Just Flight Turbo Arrow, but it's missing like the persistence module, the AccuFuel, as A2A calls it, which is kind of a bummer. Like, you can still check the oil and everything, but it's full oil before every flight. So the aircraft is not in the state that you leave it in when you load it up again, unless you load up the exact same flight, which I don't know about next plane, but in Prepared there's lots of problems with loading up the same flight over and over and over again. It ends up accumulating problems. So we're not going to be doing that. Instead, we're going to be probably stick with the Comanche. It's a great aircraft, and it does have that persistence. Alright, we're going to switch this over to our lapse timer. We're going to pretend, we're just going to do this intersection here. We're going to pretend that they're sending us over to the tower. So we'll switch over to the tower. And I'll say Skybra Tower with Cessna November 7274 Hotel. Runway 7 right, ready for departure. VFR to the south. And which point they'll say Cessna November 7274 Hotel, cleared takeoff, VFR south. Be like, alright, thanks. Get the landing lights on, your strobe lights on, turn on taxi lights off. We'll get our turn going here. We're just gonna do a rolling takeoff. Transponders up to on. Back. Reset our flight time, or a lapse timer. And we'll get going. Putting the throttle in, full mixture. Struggle with our joystick rudder. Just hold it, because eventually the aircraft will basically take off on its own. Alright, I'll bring some trim in here. Be sad that we get our low frame rates for some reason. Keep adjusting that trim. We do want to keep our climb going, but not too bad. I think the best rate of climb in this guy's like 78 or something like that. And I can bring that mixture out a little bit now. Alright, now that we're up and over the airport, we can go ahead and make a turn to our south. Keep turning until we see South Mountain. That's not it, that's South Mountain's little hill friend. There we go. That's it. Alright. Let's get that trim working for us rather than against us. Ah, we got a nice little road here that we can follow right in front, off our nose if you see it. Alright. So, looking over my AGT gauge, it looks like we need to put more fuel in a little bit. Oh, I need to take some fuel out. Lean out the mixture. There we go. We see the white needle on the EGT gauge climbing. Alright, nice. Alright, so what are we doing? Besides flying a 172. Well, let's go ahead and turn our running lights off. So this is going to be the start of a new series. Other than the Throwback Thursday thing, this will be kind of also the relaunch of my channel. So let's go rewind all the way back to the beginning. I got back into flight sims maybe like a year and a half ago, and you know, I kind of remember why I stopped playing in the first place, which was as much as I loved the flying around and stuff, I kind of got a little bit bored without like a structured thing to do. It can only sandbox for so long. I can only sandbox for so long. So I started looking for things that would make it a more structured environment. I stumbled upon add-ons like FS Passengers, which I used for a while, but that was a little bit too freeform for me. It helped structure the flights and added failures and stuff like that that normally didn't happen, but it was still a little too freeform. And then I found FS Captain, which was a little bit more to my liking. It was a lot more like flying for an airline. You know, they have schedules that you can fly for. They don't tell you where to fly or what to fly unless you ask it to. You still get to pick like where you're flying and what you're flying, but definitely more structured than the FS Passengers or just the sandbox fly wherever you want, doing whatever you want. So I flew with that for probably 6-7 months, and it kind of started getting a little bit old, and I decided that I wanted to, you know, reading up on forums and stuff. Oh, more fuel, not less fuel. There we go. I kind of saw, and started learning about virtual airlines. I took a look into those, and they seem pretty cool. A lot of them required you to be on VATSIM or something. VATSIM or IVAO. A lot of them required you to be on like VATSIM or IVAO, which I hadn't done for a couple reasons. Partly because, you know, while it adds to the realism and stuff, I was relatively satisfied with the ATC stuff that I had between using PF3 or Pro ATCX. And the other reason was watching, you know, if we were to go look at VATSpy or the IVAO map, there were never any controllers on in my areas where I was flying. Unless I wanted to go fly in Europe during the day, I really didn't have anybody controlling, and Pilot Edge just isn't an option because I can't afford it. So I said, oh, okay, well, I can't join any of the VAs that require you to fly online, that's fine. So I found one that said that they didn't require you to fly online, and I applied. In their application, they ask for your VATSIM ID. I thought that was a little weird. I was like, well, I mean, I don't have one because I don't fly online. You say you don't have to fly online, so I'm just going to put not applicable. And a few days later, like, I got an email saying that my application was denied because I didn't give them my VATSIM ID. Which was really confusing. So I kind of just was frustrated and gave up on the VA idea for a while. And then watching one of the YouTubers that I follow, Captain Mac, mentioned that he started a virtual airline with some of his buddies. And so I was kind of interested in that, and he had mentioned that it wasn't really like a lot of the other virtual airlines. And so after taking a look at them, I decided to apply and join, and ended up apply and got accepted and ended up joining them. And found out it's a really great community over at Millennium Aviation Corporation. The great group, super friendly, super helpful. And so my favorite part is not only do they offer, unlike some virtual airlines, but similar to others, they offer a kind of an open, it's called the open division, a very free form, fly whatever you want, wherever you want, as long as it's a part of their schedules. Which is, and so that's the division that you get put in when you first join. They also offer 2 other divisions. The first other division is the historic division, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of similar to the open division, where you get to fly whatever you want, wherever you want, as long as it's in their schedules. But it's exclusively older aircraft, be it things like DC-3s, C-47s, which are the same thing basically, to DC-6s, Constellations. They have some flights for the old de Havilland Comet, Boeing 707s, DC-8s, up through like 727s and early 737s and things like that. So everything from like the really old first real prop liners up to the earlier jetliners, which is awesome. But that's not what we're doing either. What we are doing is their 3rd division, and that's their professional division. So as I mentioned, I was looking for something a bit more structured, and that's exactly what their professional division offers. With some virtual airlines, you start in like regional jets and work your way up to the heavies or supers. Here at Mac Air, though, you actually start all the way down at your PPL, basically. You have to take a theoretical exam, and then once you do the theoretical exam, if you pass, then you get to have about 10 hours worth of flights in a fixed pitch propeller airplane, which is exactly what the 172 is. Now, after those 10 hours, just like you would have to do in getting your real PPL, you have to do a practical check ride with them. Now, the way that they used to do it was you'd actually do like a full shared cockpit environment kind of thing with one of their instructors in TeamSpeak, and do basically literally a practical check ride. And they've evolved it a little bit. They've gone to, you can just record it, make a YouTube video, and send it to them. But now the ACARS system that they use is actually records enough that they can determine whether or not you pass your check ride just from your PIREP, your pilot report. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, so this whole series thing will basically be my journey through their professional division. Probably won't do every single flight. I'll do a selection of flights. Maybe either flying out of the hubs or flying into the hubs. I don't know, it just kind of depends. If it's going to be an interesting flight, I'll make a video. I'll try to do at least one a week. And, I did speak with Captain Mac and Eric, who's the COO, and I can also be offering some kind of tutorials as well for things, especially once we get past the fixed pitch stuff into the constant speed props, start doing more IFR things. There's a lot of options for tutorials there. One thing that one little tutorial I do want to do for this guy, this 172, is on one of our flights we'll fly out somewhere and then we'll do a bunch of touch and goes. show maybe how to do, properly set up for your approaches, how to, properly land. Then probably in another video we'll do some pattern work where we'll just fly into and out of the pattern a bunch and talk about how to do pattern work. We'll probably save doing holds. We'll probably do holds while we're in our fixed pitch. And then, of course, once we get to our instrument stuff and we're working on getting instrument rated, we'll need to learn how to do radio aid navigation using VORs, Vortex and Vordmes, using non-directional beacons, NDBs, along with your ADF, things like that. And that can include GPS navigation as well. So we'll see if we can get 182 equipped with a GNS or a GTN or something. We'll see what the flight school's got. But yeah, so that's what this is gonna be. We're gonna do, so here we're gonna kind of break standard and do a little right hand base into final. Let's go ahead and get the tower tuned up, even though we can't talk to them. At least we can listen. Be 120.1. So 120.1. I know the aircraft is kind of bouncing back and forth. That's okay. On average, it's going straight. Alright, there's 120.1. ATIS is on 118.35, so we'll swap over to that as well. It should be basically the same as what was at Sky Harbor. But who knows, maybe there's a weird weather thing going on.
Good here. Airport information. Juliet 1545 Zulu. Wind 007 at 5. Visibility greater than 20 miles.
Go ahead and get our landing lights back on.
No clouds below 20,000. Temperature 30. Dew point -11. Altimeter 2969er.
Yeah, basically the same. Okay. And using runway 3. Great. So unfortunately can't talk to them. If we could, we'd call in and say Goodyear Tower, November 7274 Hotel. We're about 3 miles to the south. Request land, full stop. And they'd probably tell us to do a left-hand base. Or maybe not. Maybe they just tell us to do the right-hand base because of where we are. Right-hand base into runway 3. Clear to land. We make our turn in. 74 Hotel, clear to land. Yep, and as you can see, I did an absolute garbage approach here. So we're just going to bring our throttle all the way back. Moving views and trying to fly at the same time is very difficult without something like track IR. Once we've got our throttle all the way back, we don't have any flaps out, so we're gonna get going a little bit fast here. That's okay. Once we get down and level off, we'll keep the throttle out, and we will slow down quick enough. It is quite a bit bumpy. Yeah, you can see we're slowing down plenty fast. And since it's not a short field or anything, we really don't need the flaps to land. And actually, it'll probably help us a little bit by not giving us extra lift and help keep us from floating down the runway a little bit, because Cessnas like to float. Alright, there we go. Much better approach angle there. Bring the power back in. I really do want to bring it back to around 80 knots. It is bumpy. Also, my frame rates are garbage right now. I don't know why. Bad frame rates make it really, really difficult to land. Yeah, we're floating like so hard right now. I have no idea what's going on with the frame rates. There we go. That was alright. Yeah, I literally just flew from here to back to Sky Harbor, and my frame rates are fine. So I don't know what's going on with it now. All right, go ahead and turn off the runway here. So yeah, so that's the rundown of what's going on. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, keep it friendly, keep it happy, keep it constructive. But I'd love to hear from you, so go ahead and leave a comment if you'd like. Hopefully you guys liked the video. If you did, please give that thumbs up button a clickety, or don't, whatever. You do you, man. But here we are at Goodyear. We're gonna just taxi in, shut down the aircraft, and that'll be that. And I'm gonna have to figure out what the heck is going on with my ATC. I don't know why it decided it's gonna not work today. We'll find out. We'll fix it for next time. No, we're not gonna turn in here, we're gonna turn in at the next one. Every time I talk to them, they tell me to turn in. And I know I didn't do a fake ground call in. It's kind of sad when they don't talk back to you. Talk back with you, I suppose. Yeah, those frame rates hurt. Alright, here's our taxiway. Good old friend Alpha 2. Okay, we're not going to be parking next to the fuel truck. We're going to keep going and park next to that Baron. Not following the taxi lines at all because I'm a rebel. Also because it's steering and things are hard on a joystick with terrible frame rates. Yeah, that was awful. Okay. Thanks for watching, and we're gonna shut down here, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care.